So before I get into the video, I just want to address a few things that I've gotten over the past few days. First off, I just want to say that I've gotten a few, I don't want to call them hate comments, but a few constructive criticism comments that I didn't even realize until today because they were flagged for potentially inappropriate, so they weren't like public. But first off, I just want to address the one that said that this was fan art and it was fake. The source that I get my spoilers from is accurate. It is the #1 accurate source, and I'll address the mistakes later. The one that says, I can't talk, listen. I understand that the videos that I make are not supremely high quality. I don't commission any art for them. I don't make any overlays for them. Yes, the editing is bare and minimal. However, this isn't the main channel that I focus on. These videos are purely made so I can talk with people who have these same interests as me. I love discussion, so these videos mainly exist for people who like to discuss my hero with me, and if I can build a community of people who, like the same manga as me, then that's pretty much all that's all that these videos have done their purpose for. Thirdly, I would like to apologize to everyone who watched the last spoiler video. I just want to say that I did not realize that Toya's hair color was different. The manga is in black and white, so when his hair is colored black, I would assume it would be black, but apparently it's different in the anime and the manga. I'm not that, I didn't do enough research on the video for that. And I just want to say I do humbly apologize because I like to pride myself on giving you guys the most accurate information. So when it comes off as something wrong, I do feel greatly bad about that. So I do apologize for giving you wrong information. I do wait on the spoiler videos in case they are fake as well, even though my source is very accurate. The guy on Twitter has never really posted anything fake. So in the future, I just want to say that I will try my best to give you guys much more accurate information, do a bit more research, and I apologize if I falsely made you believe something when in fact it was wrong. So just with that tidbit done, let's go ahead and hop into the spoiler video because this chapter was pretty good, actually. So this chapter comes off a bit heavier than some people would expect. This chapter brings in a lot of emotion more than action, with a pretty convenient reveal at the end. So once again, the Todoroki family triad is front and center in the conflict of the chapter, but we do get a nice little reveal, not counting the end reveal, about Hawks. So buckle up, we're going to be getting a lot of info about the Todoroki family and Hawks, as well as a cool little reveal at the end that if you watch the spoiler video, then you already know what it is. So this chapter review may be a bit shorter than normal, mostly because it's kind of reiterating Todoroki's story, which we already kind of knew, to an extent at least. So we're probably going to be getting his story over the next couple of chapters told with flashbacks while the fight is going on. So we begin here with just a simple internal monologue saying that Toya had perished in the fire and that the flames had exceeded 2,000 degrees, leaving no trace of the corpse behind, and the only thing they could recover from the fire was a piece of his lower jawbone, which we now know that piece of his lower jawbone was maybe it's fake, I don't know, who knows, maybe it actually is Dabi's lower jawbone. But we then get an interesting scene about how Toya's hair is turning white despite him not knowing how, and this is because Endeavor is talking about how he took his wife Rei with an ice quirk in hopes of getting an offspring who could inherit both his fire and ice quirk, and Toya inherited, he didn't possess Rei's ice quirk, he did possess a fire quirk that was even greater than Endeavor's own. However, they then found out that he inherited the body of an ice quirk user. So Endeavor then internally monologues some shit we already knew, saying that, he tried again to have a baby that was half and half. And his wife agreed, which when he says my wife agreed, I don't know if did she reluctantly agree or did she willingly give consent to agree. I feel like she was already kind of in a shitty situation. She was like, fuck it, we'll have some more kids, why not? Right, you know what I mean, right? Like, I don't feel like she was like, let's have some more kids, my loving husband. But they ended up having their second, which is Fuyumi, who is the sister who inherited the ice quirk, but did not get the fire quirk. So, we then flash back to Endeavor, who says something interesting. He says, because Toya himself had proven to be blessed with more talent and potential than myself, so I had left all of my ambitions to Toya. There was potential to reach heights that I had coveted my entire career. My resentment, jealousy, and ugly heart, all of it. I have done away with all of it for you. And then we get a reveal of Endeavor looking up, still pretty much starstruck, as Dabi is on top of Makia. So it's very clear here that Endeavor, in his attempt to reshape himself as a person, feels great massive guilt towards Dabi. Like I said in the last video, it's a Batman Jason Todd scenario where Toya is Endeavor's greatest failure, and as much as he tries to cover it up, he has to deal with it. And we see here that he himself hasn't quite gotten over the initial shock of Dabi saying he is alive, because we then see Endeavor saying Toya is dead. This is an unforgivable lie. An interesting tidbit here, though, is that we see the League of Villains conversing on top of Makia, where Compress and Spinner are talking about how they didn't even know Dabi was Toya until he revealed it here initially. We then see them holding Shigaraki, who is currently out cold, and they say, "Wake up, Shigaraki, we're here, give Makia an order." So it turns out Makia can't do anything without an order, and Shigaraki is out cold. So we will see where that goes from there. Dabi then says to run a DNA test in order to see if him and Endeavor match. And we then flash back to the video that is currently being shown to every screen in Japan somehow. Hacked satellites, I don't know, you know how superhero comics work, right? So he then says that he used some of Endeavor's blood left behind after his fight with the High-End Nomu, and when the test came back, it was a 99.99% match. However, Dabi does acknowledge that most people wouldn't believe a medical document that was shown to them by a villain broadcast. We then get an interesting monologue here from Dabi, just basically explaining how his father would, he said right here, "My father would force my mother to give birth to more offspring. And by the fourth, it worked," which was, we now know, Shoto. He says, "But even with his trophy son, my father would still get physical, even with him. I've seen it firsthand." So we end up flashing back to Fuyumi and Natsuo as they are currently watching the broadcast. Natsuo more so than others. So we then get Dabi basically trying to convince the public that Endeavor is a piece of shit. Right? He says, "Endeavor doesn't have any consideration or respect for others. He has a narrow self-righteous mentality mirrored in his own self-image." So at this point, we get a scene that purely exists for the fact that, the people believe in Endeavor, right? Because we see a kid who says this is a lie. No one would ever believe this, right? Our faith in our heroes won't waver just because of this. We aren't that stupid. So this scene is, or this, I guess, panel, a few panels, is meant to show us that, people aren't just going to believe Dabi initially, right? And Dabi knows this. So then Dabi ends up revealing some footage that we didn't get to see about the number 2 hero, Hawks. And this is where we get our first-hand panel. We didn't get to see Hawks kill twice in that chapter, but then we finally get our panel of Hawks stabbing twice in the back with his feather blade. We see twice crying and running, trying to crawl away as Hawks stabs him again. And he says, without any hesitation whatsoever, Hawks stabbed the villain with his feathered blade as he was crying and running away right in front of me as I tried to protect him. And now, something I want to address here. The little Liberation Front member guy says, "You're welcome for editing this in such short notice. You may now grovel to me." And then Dabi says, "Your cameras caught such good footage, I couldn't let it go to waste." You're telling me this mansion fight took place less than 2 hours ago. You were able to recover camera footage and edit together this full video and broadcast it to every screen in Japan in less than 2 or 3 hours? Bruh, do you know how editing works? Hello? Maybe this is a shittily edited video. Maybe he has like a bot who can edit for him, but goddamn, this guy is an editing wizard. If he can put together a video like that, and who knows how, short notice amount of time on a laptop, of all things, on fucking Wi-Fi, bro. How was he getting Wi-Fi? Who knows? We then see Dabi basically reveal that he knew Hawks was a spy, and he says in order to infiltrate our little group, he killed another hero, the number 3 hero, who is currently recovering, known as Best Genist. Violence has become such a norm in his life that he did it without a second thought. It's quite similar to someone else, actually. And that's when we get the reveal, a big reveal from Hawks, about Hawks' origin. And Dabi says his father was a serial robber and a murderer. In other words, a villain. The reason his record and real name are kept from the public is because of that exact reason. His father was caught by Endeavor. What a coincidence. Looks like birds of a feather flock together after all. So, Hawks was trained by the public, I think it was the Public Hero Safety Commission, otherwise known as the government. And one of the big reasons why his real name and everything is kept so hush-hush and secret is because his father was a villain and a murderer. And that wouldn't look good upon initial, I guess that wouldn't look good for his reputation. We already know Hawks is a good guy, and he's willing to go above and beyond the call of duty for the greater good, even if that means killing someone he once called a friend twice. It is interesting, though, how Hawks' origin is revealed a bit here, when now Dabi could be lying. I kind of doubt he is, but hopefully we get a bit more in-depth explanation on who Hawks really is and who his father really was in the coming chapters. So basically, we then see Dabi, give a full monologue about the stain shit, where, heroes are deceiving all of you, blah, blah, blah. Think of morality. Heroes are ugly people. And then basically, Dabi jumps off of Makia as he uses the flash fire fist prominence burn. Now that sounds fucking sick. And I'll show you this panel of Dabi just lighting his ass up with the flash fire fist. We then see Shoto kind of snaps to his senses and he says, "Father, he's coming. Please get it together and move. We have to protect Midoriya and the others." But Endeavor, he can't move. He is completely starstruck at this point. Doesn't know what to do. As Dabi, is coming towards him, we then see a bunch of threads and wires come from above as they light up Makia and they light up Dabi. And we then see Dabi look up, and we see a silhouette in the sky that says, "Apologies for being fashionably late. Best Genist will now be returning to work starting today." So that's the big reveal. Genist is alive. Hawks didn't actually kill Best Genist. He went above and beyond the call of duty to make everyone think he did. But in reality, it was just a ploy to infiltrate himself into the Quirk Liberation Front, or the Paranormal Liberation Front. So Best Genist is back. He'll be entering the battle next chapter. And now this wasn't a very action-heavy chapter. It looks like next chapter we'll be getting more action, probably with a bit more of in-depth information on Dabi. But it looks like the action will be much more next chapter. And this chapter just kind of information dumped a bunch of things that we knew and didn't know. We did get a cool origin for Hawks, a bit of information about his father, a bit more information about Dabi and who he is. Of course, we get the reveal that Best Genist is still alive. So this was a bit more of an emotional driven chapter. But like I say, I feel like a spitting or a broken record at this point. But this arc just continues to pile high on the action, on the character moments, the development, the action. This arc is just going to be ultimate. This arc is going to be the best arc My Hero probably will have for a while. And having one emotion heavy chapter isn't going to ruin it for me. In fact, when the emotions are this high, the only thing it can do is just add to the already incredible amount of flair that this manga is currently outputting at the moment, really.